Look at this traffic. For 42 years, not knowing this man was killed right here, and my Miss History from that moment was never the same.
The man was Arthur McDuffie, a black father beaten to death by white police officers in Miami in 1979. When the officers were acquitted, riots followed.
So it happened right here.
Right here.
It's places like this that are central to historian Marvin Dunn's Teach the Truth tours, an effort to shed light on the history he says many students don't learn about in the classroom.
There is now an effort in Florida to cherry pick history. And when you start cherry picking history, you need to make sure you don't have somebody doing that who hates cherries.
The latest controversy, an advanced placement African American study course. The College Board, the nonprofit that oversees the AP program, has now revised its official coursework. Florida's Department of Education had rejected the initial proposal to the pilot course, saying it was, quote, inexplicably contrary to Florida law and significantly lacks educational value. Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, up to this point, has been very critical of the pilot program.
We have history, a lot of different shapes and sizes. People that have participated to make the country great, people that have stood up when it wasn't easy, and they all deserve to be taught. But abolishing prisons, being taught to high school kids as if that's somehow a fact, no, that's not appropriate.
Last year, Florida passed legislation known as the Stop Woke Act, championed by DeSantis. In part, it barred instruction that suggests anyone is privileged or oppressed based on their race or skin color. The state's objections to the AP course stemmed from proposed coursework written a year ago for the pilot program. The Department of Education provided CNN with a copy of the curriculum they reviewed and a list of the state's objections, all related to Unit 4, titled Movements and Debates. Concerns included Black queer studies, movements for Black lives, Black feminist literary thought, among others, citing concerns about the works of specific authors and scholars.
This course on Black history, what's one of the lessons about? Queer theory. Now, who would say that an important part of Black history is queer theory? That is somebody pushing an agenda on our kids.
But in the newly released official framework, Unit 4 does not include any of the authors or scholars that the state listed as a concern. Queer theory and Black Lives Matter still mentioned in the course, but only as ideas for potential student project topics. We asked the co-chair of the development committee for the course if any changes were made because of the objections of the state of Florida.
No. If that were the case, if the state of Florida or any state itself could single-handedly alter the curriculum of African American Studies, the AP African American Studies course, or any AP course for that matter, it would actually undermine the integrity of the process that we have in place.
I learned a lot.
CJ Footman, TJ Brown, and their moms who live in Miami say they've been waiting for a course like this. They all attended a Teach the Truth tour and say they wouldn't know as much about their own history if it weren't for the courses taught by Dunn.
We learn about the same people every year: George Washington Carver, Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks. I feel like it's just the same stuff being taught to us, and it's kind of like, okay, they can know this, but that's it. I feel like if we don't learn this, history might just repeat itself, and it's going to keep going on and on. So we have to learn it in order to stop it.
Some parents welcome the scrutiny. Amisha Smith told us she wouldn't mind if her own daughter took the course, but some things, she said, are best taught at home.
Some things, like the queer studies, that may or may not offend some of the children, make them feel a little bit uncomfortable.
As for Professor Dunn, he's now part of a lawsuit against the state's Stop Woke law. Being uncomfortable, he says, is a part of learning and understanding the history that is often overlooked.
It looked like what had happened here. A man had been massacred at this spot. But listen, every community in this country has spots like this. Places where blacks have been abused, killed, and they've been forgotten about. This is not unique to Miami.